Virat Kohli, a name synonymous with, well, cricket, obviously. But now,
Now there's a whole different kind of buzz.
exactly, it sounds like a potential major shift, maybe even seismic one, in the sportswear world.
Hmm.
And you, our listeners, you've sent over some really fascinating articles, stuff digging into India's massive boom in athleisure,
Yeah, that market's huge.
the power plays behind celebrity endorsements, and of course, the latest whispers about Virat Kohli's own brand strategy.
Right.
So today, we're not just scratching the surface. We're doing a proper deep dive.
Getting into the details.
We want to understand the story behind Kohli's long run with Puma, which was huge in itself,
Definitely.
and this really intriguing possibility of him maybe stepping onto a new pitch with Agilitas Sports.
A newer player on the scene.
Yeah. So our mission, really, is to decode what this potential move means for Kohli's own ambitions, the future of his brand.
And what it says about the bigger picture, the Indian sports and athleisure market overall.
Exactly. So let's get straight to it. Virat Kohli and Puma. Where did it all begin?
Well, what's fascinating right from the get-go is just how significant that partnership was. When it kicked off back in 2017,
Right.
with that reported 410 crore deal, I mean, that wasn't just a big number. It was a real statement.
A landmark moment, really.
Totally. Think about it. An Indian sports person getting that kind of investment from one single brand that was, well, unprecedented.
It hadn't happened before on that scale.
No, it fundamentally shifted how people saw the commercial value of Indian athletes. Before that, deals were often, smaller, more fragmented.
Right. Different brands, smaller sums.
Exactly. Kohli's deal, it just set a completely new benchmark. And it probably emboldened other athletes, too, to ask for more.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just good for Kohli, was it? Puma definitely saw a benefit.
Oh, absolutely. The sources are pretty clear on that. Puma themselves, they've openly credited their association with cricket, and especially with Virat Kohli,
Yeah.
as being a key reason they climbed to that market-leading position in India.
Yeah. Wow. So linking with him directly helped them get to number one.
That's what they indicate. Imagine the impact, right? A huge sporting icon so closely tied to your brand in a country that's just mad about cricket.
It really showed that connection, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The star athlete's popularity driving a brand's success in India? Almost symbiotic.
And it brings up an interesting point, about how celebrity influence actually shapes what we buy, what we aspire to. Back in 2017, when that Puma deal was fresh, Abhishek Ganguly, who was leading Puma India then,
Okay.
he described Kohli as someone who'd, and I think this quote is telling, transformed the way fitness is looked at in Indian cricket.
Right, I remember reading that.
Yeah,
And a youth icon, effortless style.
exactly. And it wasn't just marketing speak, I don't think. Kohli genuinely connected with so many people. He influenced not just sports choices, but lifestyle fitness goals.
Especially among younger people, yeah.
Oh.
He was a role model for fitness and his general approach.
Definitely.
Okay, so fast forward to now.
Mm-hmm.
Things seem to be changing.
Mm-hmm. The ground is shifting.
Puma had confirmed the relationship was ongoing as recently as, February last year?
That's right. They mentioned the long-standing relationship.
But then, more recent reports around April this year seem to confirm that the 8-year contract, it's actually finished.
Yes, the end of that era. Puma India even put out a statement wishing him well.
So the big question then is, why? After such a powerful, mutually beneficial partnership, why the potential shift now?
And that's where the story takes a really interesting turn with this company, Agilitas Sports.
Right. Tell us about them. They're quite new, aren't they?
Relatively new, yes. Founded in 2023. But here's the kicker. The person at the helm, Abhishek Ganguly.
No kidding. The same guy from Puma India back in 2017.
The very same. The one who was championing Kohli's impact then.
Okay, that adds a layer. It suggests maybe a shared vision or at least a prior relationship.
It certainly hints at it. Agilitas, their whole focus is on, well, the entire sportswear life cycle. Manufacturing, retailing.
In India and globally.
Both. That's the plan. And what's really noteworthy is how fast they've moved. They secured 100 crore in funding.
Just like that. When was this?
December 2023 from Nexus Venture Partners. And that money wasn't just, for show. It was specifically to boost manufacturing and launch new brands.
So, serious investment, serious intent.
Very serious.
Huh.
And their ambitions are clear. They also bagged the long-term exclusive license for Lotto.
The Italian sports brand.
Yep, for India, Australia, and South Africa. That's a big strategic play. Shows they want to be a major international player.
Okay, so Agilitas is making moves. But the real buzz, It's the potential link with Kohli himself, isn't it?
That's what's got everyone talking. The reports suggest it's not just a standard endorsement deal.
Not just wear our shoes, appear in our ads.
Seems like more. There's talk of him becoming a brand ambassador, sure, but also actually investing in Agilitas.
Taking an equity stake. That suggests a much deeper involvement.
Precisely. A real commitment.
And if you think about Kohli's own brand, 1-8.
Exactly. He launched that back in 2017, too.
Right. So this potential tie-up with Agilitas, it starts to make strategic sense, doesn't it?
It paints a clearer picture. The information suggests Kohli has pretty big ambitions for 1-8. He wants to grow it into a proper global sportswear identity.
And Agilitas, with their focus on manufacturing, distribution, scaling brands, they look like the perfect vehicle for that.
They seem tailor-made, potentially. Imagine them helping expand 1-8's retail footprint, opening more stores, going international, all leveraging Kohli's huge popularity.
Which is still massive, obviously.
Undeniably.
It really sounds like he's aiming for something much bigger than just being the face of another brand, even a huge one.
Seems that way. There's even talk of a potential rebranding or relaunch for 1-8 under this new setup.
And one report, I found this really interesting, suggested he actually turned down an offer to stay with Puma.
Oh, really? Why?
Because apparently his main goal now is to, and this is a quote, build a global company from India.
Wow. Okay. That's a powerful statement. Speaks volumes about his entrepreneurial drive.
It really does. A long-term vision beyond just playing cricket or endorsing products.
And this fits perfectly with a wider trend we're seeing, right? Athletes moving beyond just endorsements.
Yeah, seeking equity, wanting more influence in the companies they partner with.
Exactly. Kohli already has a stake in Universal Sports Biz, the company behind Wrong.
Ah, yes. The wrong brand.
And even his earlier work with Puma on the 1-8 range itself, that showed he was interested in more direct involvement.
True. It wasn't just the simple sponsorship even then.
Plus, he's known to be an active investor in various businesses anyway, so this Agilitas move, if it happens, it wouldn't be out of the blue. It feels like a logical next step for him.
A progression in his business journey.
Precisely.
And all of this is happening while the Indian athleisure market is just booming.
Exploding is probably the right word.
For anyone maybe not familiar, athleisure is that blend, right? Athletic wear, leisure wear.
Stuff you can wear to the gym, but also out for coffee afterward without looking at a place.
Exactly. And in India, it's surging. The sources point to this growing awareness about fitness, health.
Definitely. Plus, people want clothes that are stylish, but also functional and comfortable. Athleisure ticks all those boxes.
And the market itself, it's not just the big global names anymore, is it?
Not at all. You've got Nike, Adidas, Puma, of course, but there's this really impressive wave of homegrown Indian brands stepping up.
Like who? What names came up?
Well, the articles you shared mentioned quite a few. Alsis, focusing on sustainability. Kava Athleisure, known for more contemporary designs. HRX, obviously, with Hrithik Roshan.
Right, mixing affordability and style.
Then you've got Decathlon, which is huge for its range and accessibility, and a whole bunch of others. Bliss Club, Athlos, Jockey's Activewear line, Colt Sport, Silvertrack, Kika Active.
Wow, lots of players. Good Indian. Asti.
Each finding their own niche, catering to different tastes and needs. It's a really diverse market now.
It sounds incredibly vibrant and competitive. The numbers must be huge.
They are pretty staggering. India's overall sports sponsorship industry reported over INR 16,600 crores in 2024.
16,000 crores. That's massive.
And within that, athlete endorsements hit an all-time high, over 1,200 crores. That's up like 32% year on year.
32% growth in 1 year just for athlete endorsements.
Yeah, and even non-cricket endorsements saw a big jump too. It really shows how much value brands see in linking with athletes.
So connecting this back to Agilitas and Kohli, the timing seems perfect, doesn't it?
Couldn't be better, arguably. You have Indian consumers embracing athleisure, the market's booming.
And potentially ready for a strong, aspirational Indian sportswear brand with a global outlook.
Exactly. All the drivers are there. Health consciousness, urbanization, rising incomes, changing lifestyles.
And, of course, the massive influence of celebrity endorsements like Kohli's.
Which brings us back to him.
Now, something else caught my eye. One source mentioned that sports footwear manufacturing in India is still very nascent.
Ah, interesting. Yeah, suggesting a big opportunity for growth in domestic production there.
Right. And then Agilitas goes and acquires Mucho, India's largest sports footwear manufacturer.
That looks like a very direct, very significant move to capitalize on exactly that opportunity.
So they're not just relying on Kohli's brand power. They're building the manufacturing base, too.
Seems like it. An integrated approach. Vertical integration. Controlling the supply chain.
Which could give them better quality control, maybe better costs.
Yeah.
Crucial if you're competing with the big global players.
Absolutely critical.
And this whole move by Agilitas, maybe involving Kohli, it also mirrors that broader trend you mentioned, right? Athletes becoming owners, not just endorsers.
Exactly. We're seeing more athletes wanting equity, more substantial roles, especially those, say, retired from international cricket, but still with huge brand value.
Like MS Dhoni, Sachin Tendulkar, Yuvraj Singh. They're all involved in businesses beyond just endorsements. Hardik Pandya, too.
Right. For them, it's a way to diversify, build a longer-term business legacy. It gives them more skin in the game, more say in the direction.
Oh, we see this beyond cricket, too, don't we? Celebrities investing in other sports leagues.
Definitely. Ultimate table tennis, pro kabaddi league, even newer things like world pickleball.
Pickleball, right. So why are they doing it? What's the attraction for the celebrity?
Oh, the sources suggest it's more than just financial returns, though that's obviously part of it. It's about connecting with fans on a different level.
Building that long-term brand presence.
And maybe the positive image that comes with supporting sports and healthy activity.
And for the leagues or the brands, what's the benefit?
Instant credibility, for one. Media attention, buzz, fan engagement, it all gets a boost.
One source mentioned the IPL, the Indian Premier League, really paved the way for this model.
Yeah, its success definitely showed how blending entertainment, sports, and business could work incredibly well. Those lines are really blurring now.
It's also just fascinating how much celebrities, in general, influence fashion trends.
Oh, massively. Their visibility is just unparalleled, isn't it? Amplified by social media, press tours, red carpets.
One outfit choice can suddenly become the trend.
Almost overnight. And platforms like Instagram, TikTok, they just accelerate that spread incredibly fast.
Millions see it instantly.
And brands know this. That's why collaborations and endorsements are still so powerful. Think Rihanna and Puma with Fenty.
Huge impact. Or Kanye West and Adidas with Yeezy.
Absolute cultural phenomena. They didn't just sell products, they shaped trends.
And even, like, casual street style. Celebrities like Gigi Hadid or Kendall Jenner wearing athleisure day-to-day, that helped make it mainstream, right?
Absolutely. They normalized it as everyday fashion, not just workout gear.
So when a global icon like Virat Kohli makes a big move in sportswear, it's bound to create ripples.
You'd expect so. Influencing his fans, yes, but potentially the wider fashion and consumer market, too, in India and maybe globally.
Which brings us back to his ambition, building that global brand from India.
It's not just about riding a wave, it's about potentially steering it, shaping the future of athleisure from an Indian perspective.
Okay, so let's try and pull all these threads together. What's the key takeaway from this deep dive?
I think it's this. Virat Kohli's potential move, shifting from Puma to this venture with Agilitas where he'd be an investor, driving his own brand 1-8 globally.
Yeah.
It represents a really significant strategic pivot. He's moving beyond just being an ambassador.
To becoming a brand builder, an entrepreneur on a global scale, based out of India.
Exactly. And this ambition lines up perfectly with that booming Indian athleisure market we talked about.
And the wider trend of athletes taking more control, wanting equity, building their own business legacies.
For me, the real aha moment is seeing how all these pieces connect. Kohli's personal drive, the rise of a new, ambitious Indian company like Agilitas, all happening against the backdrop of these huge shifts in celebrity endorsements and the explosion of athleisure in India.
It paints a picture of India not just as a huge market to sell to, but potentially as a place where global sportswear brands are created.
That's the exciting potential, isn't it?
And for you, our listener, hoping to get that quick but thorough understanding, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
We hope this deep dive provided that context, showing how one cricketer's potential business move actually reflects these much larger shifts in India's sports and business world.
Which leads to a pretty provocative final thought, maybe?
Go on.
With Kohli potentially leading this charge, could we be seeing the start of a new era, an era where Indian-owned global sportswear brands genuinely challenge the old guard, the established international giants?
Ooh, interesting. Like an Indian Nike or Adidas emerging?
Potentially. And beyond that, what other ways might Indian athletes find to leverage their huge brand power beyond just endorsing or even taking equity? What's next?
Really compelling questions to think about.
Definitely leaves you wondering.
Okay, now, if you found this deep dive insightful, if you enjoyed exploring the story behind the headlines with us,
and you want more.
Then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right now, we're always unpacking the details you need to know.
Join the community.
Absolutely. If you haven't already, now's the perfect time. And let us know in the comments below what surprised you most about this whole Virat Kohli, Puma, Agilitas situation.
Yeah, what stood out? And what other topics should we tackle next?
We love hearing your suggestions. Remember, the game off the field is often just as fascinating, just as intense as the one on it.
Jesus.
And we'll be right here keeping you informed. Seriously, though, if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go on, click the button, join us for the next deep dive.